What up, YouTube? It is another week and another bunch of work has been done. So this week we insulated most of the Airstream. We ended up using this closed foam bat. It's a 1-inch thick product. There's a lot of different options out there when it comes to insulation. There is fiberglass, there is spray insulation, there is foam board, there's all kinds of eco-friendly products now. And when it came down to it, the main things that we really wanted to focus on is high R value. This R value is actually close to 5 for this 1 inch of foam. It's got waterproof membrane on the back, made up of closed cell foam, and then this reflective piece that faces inside, as you can see over here. And basically, the installation process was, albeit pretty tedious, but probably took me about 2 half days to install everything except for the end caps. So the end caps, we're actually going to use a product that I'll show in a future video, but it's actually made from recycled jeans, which is kind of cool. And it also has a high R value, and it doesn't have all the itchiness involved in the other products out there. You can see all the black lines. We went around and used about 10 cans of this leak seal. It's a rubber coating, and we sprayed every rivet, every place there was a seam in the original design. And then I'm starting to also patch the exterior, I'll show you in a second, with airplane grade aluminum, and on the inside I'm spraying every rivet that I put in, every seam anywhere around the windows, everywhere I sprayed with this stuff. So this will seal everything, all the seams and everything, back to hopefully how it was, maybe even better than when it came out of the factory. And then let's see, other things we did is we did some boxes around the wheel wells. So I sealed the wheel well itself because it was in pretty good shape with the rubber coating. Sprayed the entire thing. So it's nice and pliable now again, and kind of gives it life back and some waterproofing. And then built these boxes. So here's the wheel well box. Basically it's 3/4 inch plywood. The local store had maple in stock, so I went with that, which is kind of a shame that I'm covering it up. But so that's the box, and then I insulated it. And then you can see that I connected the top, so it's nice and secure, to the frame itself with this channel. And I connected it to every piece, and then threw some of that rubber on there as well, so it doesn't kind of bring in the heat or cold as much. All right, so here is me building the boxes around the wheel wells. So the other thing I did was I started patching the exterior of the shell. And then I sprayed the rubber water sealant coating on the inside on all the rivets and everything to help seal up that hole. This was the old vent for the oven hood. And then there's a few of these vents throughout the Airstream as well that I'm patching too. All right, so going to patch the old vent hood section on the Airstream. And so I got my supplies. Here's some aluminum that I got online. You can see the rivets that I got are 3/16 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch deep, which is more than enough for what we're looking for. I got a rivet gun for about 20 bucks at Arbor Freight. And then you pick, whatever size rivet you want. And then it comes with different sizes, and obviously this one fits there. So I swapped them out. It comes with a little tool that's attached to the back here for swapping them out, and you want to make it sure it's nice and tight. And then this is supposed to be a single hand rivet gun. We'll see once we get it going, but first things I got to cut out the aluminum. To do that, I have a metal blade on a jigsaw, and then I kind of stacked up some wood underneath it so I have some space to work with. I'll put some wood on the other side as well, but I'm going to cut this piece out. All right, so after the first cut, which went pretty well, it doesn't have to be perfect, but this is actually going to be on the top of the roof, so you won't really be able to see it unless you're on top of the roof. But it went pretty well, but I learned make sure to clamp down the side, because it, especially towards the end of the cut, it starts rattling quite a bit. And then make sure obviously you have plenty of clearance. And yeah, so I've seen other people do this. I think it helps with, not catching the wind and just snagging on other stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and curve off the corners. I decided just to grab what I had on the table and use the diameter to trace. But we'll cut those corners out and then we'll be back. Okay. It was actually pretty difficult to cut with the jigsaw to do the corners. So I actually just used these, some tin snips, and they worked out pretty well. Not perfect again, but good enough. So here's the hole that we're covering up. I have some more cleaning off to do, but I'll just show you the patch. So line up pretty much like that, and then I have some stuff to plug these holes before I use a rivet to close it up. So gonna go clean the rest off, and then maybe get some sandpaper to get all the gunk off. But we'll probably want to bend this a little bit too, so it kind of forms the roof a little bit better. But I'll be back. I marked all of the pilot holes that I'm going to make, and then I'm going to use this center punch to keep the bit when I'm drilling in from wandering. This helps kind of determine exactly where the bit stays, which is nice. So I just drilled all the pilot holes. As you can see, you want to make sure that you're on top of a piece of wood that you don't care about, because you will go through the wood. All right, so cleaned the area as much as I could.
And then as you can see, I kind of bent the piece to kind of mold to the roof. And basically what we're going to do here is line it up so it covers the hole, and then we're going to put a bead of this caulking adhesive and then as well as on the outside of this guy. And you want to be quite liberal. Okay, so I got the first two in there. As you can see, you want a lot of this adhesive to kind of squirt out to seal it. I got these two in place, so it's kind of staying where it needs to stay, and then I'll drill out the rest of the holes and rivet them all, and later I'll come back with some self-leveling adhesive or leveling compound to seal it and make sure it's all waterproof. So I just finished putting all the rivets in. You can see I put some of the adhesive kind of on top of the rivets, and then plugged these old holes with rivets as well.
So that's all we got for this week. Thanks for tuning in. This next week we're hoping to do all the other electrical now that the insulation is in most of the body. So I'm gonna do all that. I'll also kind of showcase the diagram that I put together in Photoshop next week that kind of shows where everything's gonna be. And that's how I'm planning out where to run all the electrical, both the 12 volt as well as the 110. And then the 30 amp plug and the panel and all that kind of stuff. A lot of it's on order, so we gotta wait for it to come in. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.